This is Peldi from Balsamiq, and today I'm going to wireframe the project history feature for Balsamiq Cloud. Let's get started. Okay, so here we are in Balsamiq Cloud. The idea is to show a revision history for projects so that people can go back in time if they want to. Now, there's several ways to design this. I already designed a way back in the years ago that all happened inside the project itself, but that design was kind of hard to implement and had lots of issues. So I've had an idea for a new design now that a few years have gone by, and I want to flush it out a little bit. Basically, the idea would be to take a Dropbox-like approach. This is Dropbox. You can see the version history of a file. And basically you get the whole file here, different times when it got saved, and it tells you when it got saved. It's grouped by date. It tells you who did it, where, how big the file is, and then all you can really do is restore. You can't really see I guess you can preview it. You can preview it, which is nice, before you restore. That's not bad. Let's try another file that might be an easier one. I have no idea what this is. Let's look. Version history. Let's see here. So this is a text file. Okay, so this shows me this version. Then I can move on. And it says it just got moved. That's an interesting thing too. Alright, so you can preview and then restore to a specific version. Now here instead is Google Docs, and they do it inside the app itself, inside the editor, where you can name a version or see the history. And the history, you see it here as a panel, and you can go back and basically you see everything including the diffs. This is nice to do because they can do it because basically it's text. So diff in text is easy. For us it will be harder because we have multiple things. And let's see, what can you do? You can restore, look at the edits. Alright, let me see what they do for more complex files like spreadsheets. Let me find some random spreadsheet. This one, for instance. Still no version history here. It used to be here, but okay. So I'll go in, and now once it loads, let's see if it has that. Come on, Google. There it is. Same thing, same design. Tells you who did it, when it happened. They also collapse. If you do a lot of them in a short time, they collapse them. That's interesting. But I guess they try to diff things. And if it's all in the same sheet, then that's fine. And then you have a big restore button, and it seems like it keeps everything. Show changes, yes or no. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So this is the project page. So let me start a new blank mockup, and we'll call it project revision history. Okay, so there would be something that you do probably from here. and something that you do inside the project itself from the menu. Let me copy this whole thing. Where did I go? Here it is. Okay, so there it is. There's a nice little icon for history. So we could potentially have an icon here, right next to clone and download. Just make this black. And then here we would have something like project revision. What did I call it in Dropbox? Version history. I like that they use, yeah, I think that project version history. History has to be one of the words for sure. And version, I think, is a better name than revision. Okay, so there's a tooltip. So that people know what it is. And then just put it there. Just do that to show that it's selected. And we'll put it, put it on top. Pointy button. Whoops. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you get to it. Let me crop this guy. Just enough that people understand we're in the editor. And I'll group this guy. Okay. So I think what would happen is that for both of these, we could open a pop-up dialog. Let's start with that. Let's try with that. Project version history for XYZ. Okay, so here you would have well, probably a close button. Close. And then I think we would have restore this version. Let's see, maybe a download this version. Preview. Well, let's write a list of what we want. We want to be able to download. Okay, see history, dates, who did it, act on previous versions. So download older version, restore to a version. Preview a version, right? We gotta be able to do that. So to preview, we can have a little editor for sure. Just like we do here for wireframes to go, we can have an editor. Oh, what's the matter? Oh, there's an error. Gotta fix that. Anyways, we have a way to have a little viewer even inside the editor, but that would mean having this window be very, very big, because if it has to have its own viewer in it, that's quite a lot of space required. Unless we showed something like this. So this might be a little hard to see, but that could be a good first step, I guess. But then you can navigate the assets, the symbols. I'm thinking. All right, well, let's start putting some more stuff on the page. We definitely need a list. Definitely need a list, and this list can say, we could have a list on the left where you have all the old versions, and then the editor on the right, but this is too small. Too small. Really, I don't know how often do you need to look inside. Usually you can make a decision based on the date and who made the change. Just like Dropbox does. Dropbox, the preview is in a separate thing here. Yeah, the preview you have to click on to preview, and then it goes full screen, which is nice. I think that makes sense. So let's go with just this sort of info to start. So there is a label. September. Then let's see, we have, okay, so okay, let's see. This one just has the file name all the time. That seems weird. Oh, because they also show if it got moved or renamed. Guess we could do the same thing. All right. Project XYZ. This would be good. So this could be a icon and label. No, I'll make it 2 lines. So edit, pencil. So there was an edit here. What do we say at the time? 4:33 a.m. It's a little smaller and gray, too light. And then here we say okay, and then I guess here we'd have the buttons to say download, preview, and This would be disabled because it's the current version. Then here we can say project renamed, no, created. And then what happened? Then here we can say people, user, something like that. Well, this is that's not really a version. I guess no, this could work. Yeah, it's like a souped up version history. If we also have project member stuff, but I think this is useful because it gives you a little bit of accountability if someone makes it public or not, stuff like that. And these could be icons. Be nicer, I think. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so the download will just make it happen. I don't know. It's like a move. Oh, I keep doing that. It's like I don't know how to use my own product. There we go. All right, and this whole thing scrolls if needed. down a little bit. Okay, so the download is easy. The preview we gotta think about, and we gotta think about what happens to restoring. I think restore would just create another version on top. So if you did restore, this would happen. This would happen. Basically, you would do, say today is still September 6th. There will basically be another one. Maybe we can say history here. Restored. Restore all versions from August 24. 310. So I'm thinking now to have 2 lines instead of one for the name and one for the worked on, edited. So this is 11 and gray. Yeah, I think that's better. Make sure that these are lined up. Okay. That's good. Nope. All right. This is not bad. Now we could totally punt on the previewer functionality if we said, well, just download desktop and you can open it in desktop. It is a free desktop viewer, but that would not fly for Chromebooks or tablets or stuff like that. So I think that we do have to build it a preview version. Oh, let me redo that history here. Restored to a version from August 24, 310 M. So it basically just creates a new version and plops it on top. And then if you're in the editor, it will reload or something like that. And people will, yeah, it will reload for everybody that's loading it. All right, let me add some notes here. Pressing restore this version creates a version with the content of the old version. All edit, all, anyone looking this project is prompted to reload the page. Yeah, that's good. Download is pretty self-explanatory. And now we have the pickle of how to do the preview. That's the only thing left. Let's see. See who did what. Active preview meaning download, restore, preview we have to do, show renames, show member changes. Okay, that's good. All right, so the preview, I think we have to do, we just have to open a new editor, that's all, full screen. So let me get the project. Basically, it's just an editor. So if that is the all right, so browser. So that's a dialog right here. Maybe not that big, but you get the idea. Then when we do preview, we kind of have to go full screen. We have to go full screen. So what happens? Here you would see gotta give you a way to come back. And then all you should be able to do here is view. I guess you could go full screen. You cannot do quick add. It's basically the same as the view UI. The same thing you see here when you review and comment. And but we probably want to have a let me do it this way. Label here that says something like this. Add a link. Okay. And then this is bold. This is what you're looking at. And here you can navigate the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we need to change this color to something that clearly says, hey, look, you're looking at some history. I don't know, something different than normal. Here we can do history. That's nice, a little breadcrumb. So with that, you go back here. But also I'm going to give you X. To get out of here. They both go to the same place. They go back to where you came from. Yeah, you still have the zooming stuff. Put them there so people see that they go there. They're too small. And this way people can navigate through the wireframes, the assets, the whole thing. And then I guess we need a download and restore. Like that, nice and big. And I'll download this version. So, and here it is version September 6, 4:33 a.m. of project XYZ. And this is project, and this is V ABCD 1, 2, 3. Alright, so it takes over the whole screen just like in Google Docs. This is project. And you can go back. And then this one navigates through the different versions. That's not bad. Let me just do these so that people understand what's happening here. Okay, so I think we're good. That one goes here. And this one too. So basically with this design, you restore the whole project. You can't pick and choose. I only want to restore this wireframe, this and that. If you want to do that, you download it. Oh, or what we could do is we could add make a copy function, create a new project from this version. Which you can do if you download and re-upload with a different name. How common is this? Yeah, I don't think I need to create a button. I guess we could do that. We could do that easily, where it's just an icon. Duplicate, basically, and it just creates one called with a default name based on the version name or whatever. A little more left. So this says preview, and this one says create a new duplicate as new project. And these, I bet they just need to say restore. Well, these are little things. Let me add that. Too much. Okay. I think that's a good start. Oh, this one needs a duplicate. Okay. This would be nice. I think this would be very nice. All right. I'm gonna stop right there. Thank you guys. See ya. Hey, it's me again. Thanks for watching. This was a long session, and I apologize for that. I clearly was not at the top of my game today. I must be tired. I didn't start up with a clear idea in my mind, and so it took me a long time. I didn't even have the requirements clear in my mind. As you saw, I added them partway through. And then I just fidgeted a lot with moving stuff around, which didn't really matter at this stage. So lots of mistakes there, but nobody's perfect, right? All right, I'm still pretty happy with where the design landed. So we'll see what the rest of the team says. All right, bye.